Meet Steve and Laura, the wandering empty nesters. This is Bookpack Go, your inside look at real adventures, smart travel tips, and how to wander better. One trip at a time. Let's go.
Welcome back, Wanderers. A lot going on this week. As you heard in the preview, we're going to get to it all. But right now, if you haven't been here before, by the way, my name is Steve.
And I'm Laura.
And we're the Wandering Empty Nesters. And you are in our new nest. I don't know. We're going to look for a new name for it, but this is the new location that we are going to record from now on. So let us know what you think about it, what you'd like to see added. But let's get right to it. And we're going to jump to the most recent thing first. I'm a little bit out of order, but this popped up yesterday. I'm sure you've already seen some of it on the news. But Royal Caribbean suffers a dramatic malfunction in their water slide. Now, this is the frightening Bolt water slide. It's on most of their new large ships. And this was Icon of the Seas where this happened. Now, this is one of those water slides. It is a tube slide, but it's one of those dramatic drops. So as you can see here, you kind of sit in this tube or stand in this tube, and the attendant he drops you whenever he thinks you're unprepared most, and you go through. You look at it, you see the picture there, failure in the acrylic. And I guess it doesn't happen often or ever. I don't think I've ever seen this.
And they're okay.
And injured?
They were injured, but they're okay.
Theme parks, amusement parks in the United States are not required by law to report accidents. Well, this has been a thing for a long time. So I guess whether this has happened before, we don't really know, but it's just, you think you would hear about it, especially the day of cell phones. Social media, exactly. So they've shut it down, obviously. I have not seen whether they've shut it down on the other boats, but that brings to mind, there's so much going on with these new ships now, especially on the Royal Line and the larger ships. They have like a Central Park, New York theme, multiple water slides, an ice skating rink at sea in the Caribbean. I mean, literally everything you'd want to do on one ship, which is fantastic. But are we reaching a point in seeking thrills? We just saw NCL release their new Aqua slide coaster where you get shot up this conveyor thing like 20 miles an hour, and you should shoot you into the tunnel system. You're on a raft and it's not a body thing like this, but have we reached a point of critical failure with the seeking of thrills and satisfying the customers? Or is it just one of those rare accidents no one could have foresaw and we'll never see it again?
I hope it's just an accident that will not ever happen again, but I feel like they're getting too big. They're putting too much stuff on them.
Well, there is definitely a lot on them. And now the newer series.
You can't do it all.
Well, that is it, and I do like, and NCLs, and we'll talk about something they're doing on their on their private island. They're adding to it, but they are entering into this new phase for them where they're more like Royal Caribbean, where they're more like Carnival. Yes, it's family oriented, and that's all fine. They've always sort of been family oriented, although admittedly not as much to do for the teenage group. They've always had a kids club for smaller kids, but yes, teenagers on Norwegian probably were somewhat bored, but I always looked at it as the next elevation in cruising. You've kind of graduated beyond the water slides. You would go up and, you're Royal Caribbean, and then you're Holland and Princess and Celebrity, and these are your cruise ships where I've previously said this is where the water slides, the zip lines stop.
And you graduate to Virgin and Viking.
Well, Viking does sea cruises, absolutely, but river cruises as well. And Carnival has always done that in a good way, in that Carnival and Princess are owned by the same company, but their ships are made for two very different people. Norwegian, single company trying to be all things to all people now with their newer boats. Royal, the new boats have come out, and beyond this mechanical failure, we have seen brand new boats out of the shipyard have mechanical failures and be adrift for a couple of hours. I know a lot of people now have seen the documentary Carnival, the poop cruise, and they
have not.
I haven't, and I don't want to, but I will say that because people have recently seen that, they relate it to being current. The thing is that happened like a decade ago on a much older ship. I'm not saying it couldn't occur today. There are obviously mechanical failures, but I think the cascading of failures that occurred there isn't probably something you'd see today. But we do see brand new ships off the line who have already done their sea trials, who have been deemed okay for passengers, have mechanical failures. Now we're seeing a manufacturing failure. Yeah, maybe we're going too fast, because these ships, being the largest at something like this, this slide is the tallest in the world. But anything in the world in the cruising industry lasts about 6 months. And then the next thing comes out and it's bigger, badder. larger. Yeah, the new ships were at 5,000 plus people. Although Carnival has announced that they're going to release a new series of ships, or at least a couple of new ships, where they're going to look at the 2,000 to 2,500 range, which is much smaller than most do. So they're kind of they're trying to give you something else.
I feel like Carnival's luring me back, trying to get me back.
Well, I think that they were going there until they, crushed it with the loyalty thing. I don't think I would cruise them enough to care about loyalty, but it does make me wonder about.
But if they're slowing down and getting smaller.
Yeah. But I think for us, that the elevation to the other cruise lines like Celebrity, which we went on and was nice. Virgin, which I can't figure out a place to fit it in yet, but it is so much. It's really the next cruise on my list. Looking at all the others.
26.
Well, yeah, which we have a Norwegian in 2026, and we have a Royal at the end of the year. The next unknown cruise line we take that we haven't done before definitely is going to be a Virgin, but that is a step up where you're doing away with all this. So I do think they're getting too big, and I do wonder if they are rushing the productions in order to get that next title of the biggest out there, because this is a serious thing. When you start talking about things on this scale, water slides that go out off the ship, we've seen the swing rides that swing off the ship,
and we've seen that accidents can happen,
and it's not just cruise lines.
Yeah, why would you take that risk?
Well, again, it's thrill seekers. I think it's thrill seekers, and again, it's not just the cruise lines. We recently saw in Saudi Arabia the pendulum ride that snapped. Six Flags has several of those pendulum rides throughout their parks in the United States. And it is, again, an effort to satisfy that next thrill. People, whatever was thrilled them last year, they're done with that. That's not as thrilling anymore. And they need that next dose. I mean, you look at the Strata in Las Vegas with the roller coaster that goes out along the outside. There's just no way in the world I would ever do that. So, yeah, I mean, the more they try, the more dangerous it gets, the more precarious situation they put you in. This one is neither of those. It's just really large. It's within the confines of the ship. It's not off the ship. It's just a failure in the acrylic, but I do think it does speak to where we're getting at with these ships. Let us know what you think in the comments. Are you good with this? I mean, is this a one-off? You don't think it ever happened again? Would you still, if you got on any of the ships, or once they release this one again and fix it, would you go back on this ship and go ahead and ride it again? Or do you think enough is enough and you're looking for less is more? Are you one of the vacation goers who want to relax, or do you need to get all your thrills in and then you need a vacation from your vacation because all you did was run? Let's talk about some of the other stuff that's going on this week. A big bark fight at Coco Cay, and unfortunately this is Royal Caribbean again, but for a different reason this time. August 3rd at the Oasis Lagoon Swim Up Bar at Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. There was a large brawl amongst 20, 30 people. Hard to see the numbers. Not going to show the video. You can find it on the internet if you want it. I don't know what started it, but I'm going to guess that drinking was involved.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was around a bar, and we just, it's classified as the Oasis Lagoon Swim Up Bar. That's where it occurred. What's interesting is, seemingly unrelated, there's a gentleman in the video. He's not involved in the fight, and no one ever goes after him, but he's always in the peripheral, and he's got this big sign, a flat Stanley, if you will. Although it's of a woman. I don't know who the sign is. Maybe that's how he lets his group find him. He sticks up this big sign of this person. I don't know. But you could see him in the video of the fight, and he's kind of poking at people.
How did he get it on?
And that's my question. Not that the sign caused the fight, or not that anyone even turned on him for the sign, but how did the sign even get there to begin with, of all the things that are being restricted now?
I can't take my little fan, but he got this giant sign. 3.5,
4 foot sign on a wooden stick, a flat, like 1x2, and he's got it in the pool.
Yeah.
I don't know how that gets there. So I guess my question is then for Royal Caribbean, and if you've been to Coco Cay, I have not been there yet. It is a huge island. There are 10 different areas, most for pay, but some are for free. I don't know if this was a paid area, if Oasis Lagoon is a paid area or a free area, because it doesn't seem to matter whether somebody paid extra money for something, they'll still fight. But it's like going to Disney in Orlando with all the different parks. I don't know in a port call for a day, you could actually hit all 10 places. Mm-hmm. However, if you've been there, are they controlling the numbers? Are they controlling the capacity by area? What is it like? We've certainly seen some free areas at different port calls like Nassau and that, and you look at the at the free beach areas, and they're packed. But those are more public. Even the locals can go there. This is exclusive. So, and I'm sure with Royal Caribbean, this is the case. Your drink package transfers to the island, so you can get all your drinks there. But what Royal hasn't done yet, which many have done, well, by many, I mean Carnival, by extension, Princess, MSC has done this. Your unlimited drink package actually has a drink limit per day. Yeah. Most people don't realize that simply because most of us don't reach that, but it is there. And obviously that's around trying to control some of the alcohol intake. I know that their bartenders on a ship are probably trained in not over serving because people fall off ships. And you don't want someone so intoxicated they mistakenly fall overboard. At the same time, I wonder if they are receiving, or will they be receiving, how to recognize aggressiveness in over serving. If you're a bartender on land in the United States and you over serve someone and they go out and they're involved in a fight and someone is seriously injured, or they get involved in an accident and someone is killed, that bartender can be criminally charged for over serving. That is a law here, but it probably doesn't extend to cruise ships.
Would they see the aggression? In a bar, you have a drink and you stay in the bar. Cruise ship, you walk up, you get the drink, and then you typically walk away because you can walk anywhere.
Well, I think that happens even on a land bar. If it's a large bar, you walk up to the bar, it's super crowded, and you get what you need. And then you, even if it's smaller though, if you go away from the bar itself, you're mixed with all the other people. Maybe you've even gone to a side room. And I think bartenders can be trained to interact enough with a customer and getting their order to kind of get a feel for what's going on. Obviously, it's not a perfect science and everybody's a little bit different because it's human behavior, but I don't know what level of training they receive. But I do think that this kind of situation, at least here, is related to drinking. Now, that doesn't account for all the other fights. And it used to be just Carnival, which is why Carnival cracked down so hard. So a few questions. One, did Carnival's crack down and their raise in price in order to kind of push off the party demographic, so to speak, to Margaritaville? They did not want that Walmart of the Seas label anymore. Mm-hmm. Now their balcony is about the same. If you want a balcony on a Carnival, it's about the same as everybody else, about $1,200 or more if you're going to get a guaranteed balcony where they're going to select the room for you. So cost wise, did they just kind of spread that out amongst the rest because those individuals who are prone to this now are just like, well, I could spend the same amount of money here, or I could go over here to Royal Caribbean. I've not experienced that, and I'll try that. But we saw a fight in Galveston 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Galveston, brand new port, just opened up, and it was on departure day.
Yeah.
And people got into a fight. These are things I think that are before unseen. And what is causing this? It's entitlement, of people.
Well, I think people are confusing empowerment with entitlement, and then you add alcohol on top of it. Mm-hmm. And I think you're getting personalities that they may not have any other time. They think they're being empowered, but we see it as entitled. And then you add alcohol, and it's just not a good combination. I'm okay with the 15 limit drinks.
I think I am too.
Mainly because I don't know that I'll ever make it to 15.
I don't think we've ever gotten that far.
The one thing I don't like about it is I always saw the unlimited as, I've always wanted to try this drink, but I don't want to pay for it and not like it. So I would get it. I'd taste it. If I don't like it, I just get another one. Now, that situation, I might reach 15.
Well, yeah, that's counting against you for the day, right? You take that one drink or maybe two or three. Now you're 3 down. You never really drank them. And I think that's just a side effect of the policy, an unintended side effect. Now, this wouldn't matter in your example, but when we count our 15 drinks, and when you go to every bar on every cruise ship, whether they're counting 15 or not, they want to swipe your card. That accounts for where the alcohol went. And it also does, of course, put it towards you if they begin to count it. Not everybody uses that swipe for that, but we always use our tumbler. And so cruise line servers love it with the tumbler. Most people we see don't use them. We saw them quite a bit in Cancun recently. But on a cruise ship, a lot of people still using the plastic cups. Now, if you're doing plastic cups, they're counting each. You could get 15, but you're getting like 3 drinks in here and it's a 1-card swipe. Now, I'm not saying use a tumbler because you get more alcohol. That isn't a side effect. Use a tumbler because your server has to come by less. It stays cold longer. You can take it in the pool, less chance you spill it in the pool, where if a plastic cup, you would.
Which I've noticed some of them are starting to say no drinks in the hot tub. because they're getting spilled.
We experienced that on Celebrity. They wouldn't bring the tumbler or drink to the hot tub, but they would set it over by your chair where you could then go get it and bring it into the hot tub. It was that you weren't supposed to have it in the hot tub, but the servers were not going to enforce if you took it in there. They just didn't bring it to you in the hot tub. Weird, but okay. But I do agree. Like the primary was they didn't want it spilled. You're not going to get it spilled with a tumbler. Folks, take a tumbler. Folks, if you book with us, you'll get a tumbler to take with you if you don't already have one you love. This is kind of a thing that can lead to abuse if everybody starts using it, because your 15 now becomes probably 40 because there's 2 to 3 drinks in here. They're going to ice it up. You're still getting minimum 2 drinks in there. All right. NCL announced on Great Stirrup Cay, they are in 2026 adding 19 slides, back to the slides, cliff jumps, which seems dangerous with alcohol, a river float, which I suppose is their way of saying a lazy river, but we've seen lazy rivers with some active rapids, a splash zone for the kiddies, and a cave bar, which is kind of cool. I guess that's like under a waterfall or something, which would be awesome. Like a grotto. That would be awesome. The pictures look really cool. I mean, we see this big slide facility in the center of this big pool with a sun area, the lazy river going around it, beautiful looking pool and bar. And then at the bar, it has the concrete seats. Great Stirrup Cay. Which is
Caribbean?
Yes, Caribbean. It's NCL's private island there. And this, again, is their attempt to lure in more family travelers to Norwegian. We just talked about this. They're adding more things. They're going in with these new ships, with these new island features, directly competing with Royal Caribbean mainly. So I guess we can look forward to seeing fights on Norwegian soon.
But will we? I mean,
I think we will.
I'm okay. I'm okay with families. I'm okay with kids. You know, millennials have more money than they used to when they travel with their kids. Will they be the people getting the 15 drinks and fighting with their kids there?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think money does not improve a person.
No,
in fact,
but
it makes some people worse.
I was hoping that with your kids, you would not behave badly.
Well, I think you start off that way. I think you start off thinking, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of my kids. But once the alcohol takes over, all bets are off, right? You start acting like a different person because those inhibitions go down. You forget that you don't want to act that way in front of your kids because now your alcohol brain is thinking and not your common sense brain. I think the potential is there. And I think if NCL does anything, that they look at these situations and they learn. I think Royal is going to learn. And if you've been over to Coco Cay, let me know. I'm going to guess because I haven't seen it on any of the private islands we've gone to. Disney, at least if it was there, it was very well hidden. There appears to be no real security there. The security probably comes from the ship. You can hear in the video at Coco Cay's fight, you can hear the lifeguards blowing the whistle like that going to do anything, but it's all they had. And, lifeguards not going to jump in to the fight. I'm sure they called to the ship for the security to come out and, they probably did, but it took time to get there. But hopefully, if anything they learn is to keep somebody there who can deal with these things, to deal with the individuals who cannot handle their alcohol. And let's just call that's what it is. It's individuals who can't handle their alcohol, who might be perfectly nice people when they don't drink so much. But I think people spend a lot of money on these trips and they want to get every single thing and ounce they think is due them. People drink on cruises like it's the last 30 minutes have happy hour. If you go to a good bar and you're at happy hour, it's ending, you ask for a holdback. And bartenders will do this because they don't want you buying 2 or 3 right away and then knocking them back.
Right.
So they want to minimize your drinking. Folks, if you've not heard of this before, I don't think you can do this on a cruise line, but you go to a happy hour, it's in the last half hour, ask your bartender if you can do a holdback. They're going to take probably a glass, put it upside down, that's yours. And they know they charge it at the reduced rate because that's all computer driven. But they push that back for you so you can have it at a leisurely rate at a reduced price. Of course, they're looking for tips. And they generally get a tip from me for doing that because it's beneficial. But I think that is something, not holdbacks, but drink control, understanding who doesn't need another one. And to cut someone off.
We've talked before. Cruise lines do not bring you water unless you ask for it.
I think that's a thing.
I think, someone's serving you in the poolside. For every 2 drinks, they bring you a cup of water. You may not drink it, but it's there. And you may actually drink it, and maybe that'll slow you down a little.
I was taught under 3 drinks that I'm okay with 2 drinks. And I will say, and yes, as a rule, cruise lines do not do that. We've had really good servers before who I can remember. I think Definitely, I can remember a server bringing us a round of drinks and a bottle of water with it.
Yeah.
And that just kind of puts you in mind of, oh yeah, I should drink water. And so you drink water. But that was a good server who understood, obviously, the longer you stay upright, again, the more tips they get and the better it is. And it's just a good server.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what the meaning behind it is. It's just a good idea. And something I think we know until we've had a couple. And then
you forget.
You forget.
And you need someone sober, like a good server to do it, or a good bartender to do it. But I think if NCL is going to learn anything, they need to learn to do security. They need to train their people better. And more importantly, if you're going to train people and you're going to set a 15 limit, with NCL has not said they're going to do, but if you're going to cut people off, even in a bar, they realize this, that's going to require security. People do not take getting cut off gracefully. I've certainly seen it in land-based bars. I've never seen it in a cruise ship yet. I've seen it in land-based bars, and the person's getting cut off never takes it well.
No.
It usually revolves about either having their friends get control of them or a bouncer getting control of them if it really gets bad. And they're just going to have to do this because you let it get out of hand, like what got out of hand at Coco Key. It's ugly for everybody, and it ruins everyone's vacation to some extent. All right, let's talk about some good news, at least, so to speak. Good news with a caveat. We'll start with that one. Southwest maybe giving some stuff back versus taking everything away. Since their takeover by the investment company, it's been downhill. We've talked about it at length, but they've announced that if you are a branded card member, a Southwest card member, which we both are, that you will be getting some perks. Now, this is mainly probably going to revolve around getting reimbursed down the line for a purchase, because it's going to be difficult to see who is a card holder and who isn't. This is the way it's done. When you get your benefit for, say, a global entry or TSA pre, you buy it, they give it back to you in like a statement or two. You're going to get an earlier boarding, which they term as Group 5 boarding. I know that doesn't sound early, and I don't know what all the boardings are going to be. I'm not sure anyone is aware of what all the boardings are going to be. But the idea stated is that you're going to get access to the bin space more quickly. You're going to get access to preferred seating at no additional upgrade charge within 48 hours of the flight. So this is similar today to what they do with business class. If they don't sell out all business class, they'll offer it to you, trying to get a little bit more money out of you, but they're going to move you up, and you're going to get some benefits out of that. So better seating, which is probably going to revolve around seat position, more leg room, that kind of thing, which you already see on other airlines. So you'll be able to get that for free within 48 hours, or at least you can buy it and get reimbursed for it. And then this is the big one, I think, for most people. First check bag free. Now, it's these last two in preferred seating. First check bag free. 2026 is when these roll out. They have to redo the aircraft seating arrangements for this. But so I'm going to guess that you purchase the bag and then they give it in a credit later on. They refund it. We see this already. One of the benefits is 2 early check-ins per year. So you buy the early check-in with your credit card, and then you get that back. So if you are a card holder, some of the benefits, it sounds like, are coming back. I'm not telling you to run out and get a Southwest credit card. Please be responsible, because again, these benefits aren't free. You do have to pay a yearly fee for these credit cards. Well, TSA is now releasing new family lanes. So thank goodness, not necessarily, or this is kind of two-staged. Yes, part of this is more people in pre-check, which, I'm sorry, I'm being selfish. It doesn't thrill me. I think it's oversold now. Sometimes the lines are long. I still won't get out of it to go to a shorter regular security line, because even though, yes, you can keep your shoes on now, I'm not willing to take all my electronics out or take my belt off, which are still things. So I'll keep the pre-check, but now more people. So if you enroll 2 adults at one time, which I guess is a new thing. You used to do it individually, but I guess you can do a joint account now. It's a $15 discount. So that's a good thing. Now, kids under 12 are always generally able to use their parents' benefits, so they don't need one. Of course, if you get global entry for your kids, they automatically get it. But what the family line mainly is a separate line in the general security area, which is just for families that are dealing with children who maybe don't love going through the scanner because they got to go through by themselves. You can't go through with a person, or you have a stroller to break down, and it seems like no one knows how to break down their stroller when they get up there and they're fidgeting with it. So it is a special line that both reduces the stress on the main line and reduces the stress on the family, because there aren't people necessarily waiting behind them. So that's already rolled out to a couple of airports. Look for that to come soon. And if you want pre-check, get the $15 discount. We'll see you in line. But please have your stuff ready, and don't take your shoes and other stuff off. You don't have to do that there. Now, the big one that I think that we will benefit with, and I just don't understand
I'm
why this
excited
didn't
for
happen
this one.
sooner. The end of double screening for international travelers coming soon. So this is called the One-Stop Security Program. It's been around for a bit. It's been used by pilots and that's who it was developed for. But American Airlines, along with TSA, U.S. Customs, Border Patrol, and the UK Department of Transportation, I don't know why all these people got to be involved, but they are. They are testing it at Dallas-Fort Worth. And what it means is you get on a plane in the UK, you go through security there, your bag goes on the plane, it goes under the plane, you fly in, you hit customs, you clear customs as you would normally do. You typically now have to pick your bag up if you checked it. And then they basically let you out in the front of the airport, like you just come through the door and you go through security, TSA all over again. Under this program, though, once you clear customs, you come out on the other side, the air side of security, and your bag goes directly to your next flight. This is a game changer.
It's a no-brainer. I don't know why they didn't do it this way. Why would you let me have my bag?
It's been confusing to us forever.
Yeah.
Now
it seems safer if I don't ever touch my bag again.
And when we traveled internationally to Cancun, we didn't even check bags. We zipped through with our global entry. And then we got caught up in regular security again because they were re-looking at the duty-free stuff, which they have to open again for some reason.
Another thing I don't understand.
They have to test the bottle in an analyzer, but it's sealed. Now, it has been in your control the whole time.
But if it's sealed, I don't know why they have to unseal it.
I don't understand either.
Someone can explain this
well, if
TSA
you're a TSA
stuff.
person out there, or a customs person you're watching, and you can explain to us why it's necessary, please let us know. And hopefully this will catch on and it won't be a pilot project and we will all get to do it sooner than later. Like I said, they've been doing it with pilots for years, so clearly it does work.
Come May.
Now they're testing the rest of us.
We're leaving the country.
That's a long time to test it, so maybe it'll be available.
I hope it's set up.
It's got to go beyond Dallas, though. Because we're not going through Dallas. So it's got to be rolled out to other. All right. And the last thing for this week is it finally, after much testing and some delays, Amtrak releases on August 28th the Acela train line. Now, this is a bullet train style system here in the United States with higher amenities, more comfortables, seatings. They're going to have winged headrests, reading lights, USB plugs and sockets, 5G enabled Wi-Fi. You're also going to have the availability to purchase or receive drinks and or food or snacks through a cart, just like an airplane. It sounds like an airplane, right? And
on land.
Well, on rails. Yes. And I think, with all the problems that we're having with air travel this year, and it is definitely a year for patients to travel, I'm glad to see the Amtrak, first of all, upgrading their service to a bullet style, which is all over the world, except for the United States. We see something like this in Florida on a private line called Brightline, which runs right now from Fort Lauderdale to Miami, which we're going to try and take care of this year. But they have all those things. They have that first class that you can get into and the better seating and the free food. Now they have free food and free drinks in theirs for like $90 for a 3-hour trip. Now they're rolling this out through the New York corridor from New York, Union, Washington, D.C., Boston, Philadelphia, that line. But they have like 28 of these trains that are going to go throughout the United States. They can hit up to 110 miles an hour. And in bullet style, the train can actually tilt. And what that does is when it goes into a curve, that tilt allows it to maintain those speeds so it doesn't slow down. Finally, a modernization of the Amtrak line. I can't wait to see it. If you do live in those areas and you're experiencing the current style of train, and if you get the opportunity to ride this new train, let us know how it compares. Well, that concludes this week's Book Pack and Go. Thank you for stopping by. We look forward to you joining us again. Check us out on YouTube and on Facebook. If you haven't followed or subscribed, please do so. Future episodes where we're going to look at some reviews on the Bag Smart Blast backpack, which we really love, and some other things that we travel with. So that'll be coming soon.
More about Cancun.
We'll be talking more about Cancun. We're going to have a new review about the food. We're going to have a review just on the beach clubs, and we're going to have the full review of the entire resort coming up soon. Subscribe or follow so you know when they drop, and we'll see you next time.
Booked a trip on your own? Did all the research? Dealt with every problem? You paid for a travel advisor you didn't even use? Let Wandering Empty Nesters book your next one and grab Royal Caribbean's all-in sale. Friends sale free. Third and fourth guests free. $850 instant savings plus up to 40% off drink packages, Wi-Fi, and more. Hurry, these won't last.